Well, people. So this one kind of different, and this one doesn't have anything to do with. It has everything to do with it. Let me not say that, because I'm gonna try and take this from a different angle. I'm gonna try and take it from multiple different angles to get multiple different people to understand the overall message that I'm trying to put out. So the other day I went on Facebook for the first time in probably 3 weeks. I haven't been on Facebook that much. Normally, I'm on Facebook every single day trying to get people to understand the times we're living in and actual reality versus perception, and what we hope for and what we actually have. You understand? Because everybody understands that equality is something that we should have, but reality says different. Everybody understand that racism should be something of the past, but in reality, no, that is not what's happening. So I went on Facebook and I saw them, highlighting, oh, it's the 57th anniversary of Martin Luther King's "I Had a Dream" speech, and blah 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 blah. Tell me something. Have you ever seen Facebook, YouTube, Google, or any of these platforms highlight African or even African American holidays? No, they do not. They have never, not that I have ever seen. In February, Google doesn't change its Google logo to anything. But every Pride Day and them foolishness there, yeah, they will go all out and they will support the shit out of them days. But they've never supported us. But now all of a sudden, because of the riots and the tension and everything that's going on, now you want to highlight Martin Luther King's "I Had a Dream" speech. Let's talk about that speech. That is the only speech I have ever heard from Martin Luther King until I started to research and find out what's really going on for my damn self. And if you grew up in America, Jamaica, or wherever in the world, that is most likely the speech that you will know from Martin Luther King. And that's not the whole that's not the whole truth. Martin Luther King had many other speeches, but that is the most famous one because that is the one that they can use and tell you how to feel and tell you how your leader, Martin Luther King, how he felt. You understand? So you as a young person are taught to be like Dr. King. If you watch Fox News, be like Dr. King, be like Dr. King. And they'll tell you, I had a dream, I had a dream. Martin Luther King's last speech that he made about 2, 3 days before he died, because they killed him for that last speech. You have never heard that speech. That's a speech where he tells you what to really do to affect change in this world as a community of black people. You will never hear that speech. That's the one where he said you need to boycott Pepsi, boycott Coke, boycott Wonder Bread, boycott, boycott. Hold on to your dollars. This is how you wield your power as a community. Your dollars. You work for your dollars. Days, hours, seconds, minutes, years of your life are devoted to working. And what do you get for work? For your life energy that you're giving out? Money. Where do you spend that money? Do you enrich your community with that money? No, you enrich other communities that hate you. Now you see how it affects their pockets. They killed him like 2 days later. Until then, they never had a problem with Dr. King because he was playing along and, you know, helping to facilitate the dream. And he finally woke up, which we all need to do right now. Wake up. You're woke. Understand the difference? You can't be living in a fairy tale land anymore. These people want to get you to go out and march against Trump because he's against this and that. Trump is a businessman. Trump hasn't done anything to harm the black community. Trump actually, as far as I know, saved a lot of American lives, and I'm gonna stick to that because, as far as America goes, I believe Trump is the person who should be there, not Biden. Do I think Trump cares about any other country outside of America? No, I do not. He calls countries that are inhabited by black people, specifically black people. He specifically highlights and calls them shithole countries. So I am not a friend of Trump. But as far as America goes and everything that's happening right now, I think he's the person you can negotiate with. Biden, before he's even president in 1997, passed a crime bill. Plead for that crime bill. Please go and watch that crime bill. I will make sure I put the link in the description below. Please watch that speech. It is the most racist thing you will ever see in your life. It is the most racist thing you will ever see in your life. Please watch it. Where he highlighted that the crackheads are coming. They're coming for your mothers, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, your sons, your daughters. They're coming, and we need to do something about them. We need to make sure they spend at least 80% of the time, because we don't know if they're going to get rehabilitated when they go to prison. Because prison is just, it makes no sense. But we have to do it. And we have to make sure they spend 80% of their time. And we have to make sure they get arrested and get more time for crack than coke. Because, of course, all of them are cokehead. They don't want when them get catch. They don't want when they get caught with coke. They spend a whole heap of time and they have to spend 80% of their time. No. First of all, it is a known fact that the CIA brought cocaine to the black community. The black community has always been known to have marijuana. Marijuana is globally consumed by the black community. Let me not get to that yet. So, after they introduced cocaine, which, by the way, by all accounts that people who I have spoken with have told me that cocaine is not exactly addictive like that. You can do it once or twice and never do it again. Crack, on the other hand, once you do crack once, you're done. It's over. You're now officially a crackhead. And that's how it's designed to be. So first they come in with coke and they desensitize you to coke. So now you think, okay, cool, I can do it, and then never do it again and blah blah, and everybody around you knows it and blah blah blah, desensitization. It's all a part of training. Then you get caught when they come in with crack. One person do it and say, yo, this thing shot. This is the shit right here. And then more people do it. But the thing is, you don't realize you're addicted. But every crackhead, everybody who knows anything about crack can tell you, in this post-war on drugs, can tell you, once you do crack one time, that is it, you're done. Now, after they do that, they make it spread and, everyone bag of people get it. They're the ones supplying it. They're the ones who know who the big people are who are distributing it. They do nothing to stop them, but they do things to stop the regular crackhead on the street. They allow it to flourish. After it flourishes enough, where it's caused enough damage that people can see that it's a negative thing, they bring in the war on drugs. Start locking up black people because those are the people you gave it to. It did, of course, spread into your communities, which everything, including HIV, is every single thing that you have brought into our community has always spread right back into your community. Thank God for that. Now, it spread all over. Joe Biden coming with him crime bill, arrest over 300,000 black Americans, taking away over 300,000 fathers from their homes. Now, I agree that they needed to go to rehab. They needed to be dealt with some way. But taking them away from their families for 15 years was not the answer. And now we grew up in a generation where that's right about when TV started to get really interesting. Now we grew up in a generation where we have a whole generation of hyper feminine, hyper emotional males. And then those hyper emotional, hyper feminine, sexually confused, genderly confused males had children and raised those children. Those are the people you're seeing right now today. Because 50 years ago, hmm those are the people you're seeing around today as adults. These are your leaders. These are your entertainers. These are these people. And now, all of a sudden, whenever I go on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, because I don't pay for YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm that person. I don't pay for YouTube. So I get the commercials. I have never seen one commercial to support President Trump. I've never, not even one time. Every time I go on YouTube and I see a commercial, it's Kamala Harris. By the way, Kamala Harris is Jamaican linked. Like she has some Jamaican influence. I don't know how it goes. But Kamala Harris has some Jamaican thing going on. We don't claim that bitch. We do not claim that bitch. She is another one who is known for targeting and arresting specifically black men. Now, let's talk about the narrative. Jamaica is supposed to be a country that is, like free and black people run it and this and that. Our first four prime ministers were white men. Our first four prime ministers were white men with some amount of racism in them or superiority complex in them. Our first prime minister tried to genocide Rastafari. This is the part of history that nobody likes to talk about. We had a whole lot of people in Jamaica who were waking up and finding out who they are. We just got independence and blah blah blah. We living the dream. Once again, the dream. You have some people who woke up and say, yo, this place is still being governed by the Queen of England. And we do not subscribe to that. And they try to eradicate all of them. And then when the first four white men left, and now they start electing black house Negroes, one of those house Negroes banned black books that speak about black history. His name is Shearer. I don't remember his first name because it doesn't matter to me. If you look on the Jamaican dollar, you see the $5,000 bill has him on it. So he will live on. Everybody, all your children, all your adults, everybody will be chasing down the Shearer. Have you ever seen the Jamaican 50 cents? I don't even remember which one Marcus Garvey is on, but it's something like that that you never see or never use or never want. This is all by design. Marcus Garvey is the person you should know about, and I went to school in Jamaica all my life. I graduated, I passed all my subjects, and I'm telling you, I never knew nothing about Marcus Garvey until I started to do my own research. Marcus Garvey is one of the greatest prophets to ever come from the womb of a woman. And he is not thought about in the country that he came from. People in America walk up and down with the Garvey flag. And people in Jamaica don't even know it. Let that sink in. Narrative matters. And until you get people who come out here and tell you exactly the truth and how it is without trying to push some kind of agenda, apart from awakening your people, then the narrative will always be all over the place. It is a propaganda war going on, and they have their more than their fair share. They have more than their fair share of people out here spreading lies. It's about time you start learning the truth. Martin Luther King, if he was alive, he would hope that you would forget his speech about I have a dream. And he would hope you remember his speech about boycotting. And the narrative, these people will go out and they will paint your heroes in a certain light that not even your heroes would approve of. Like, for example, Bob Marley. People only know three little birds and one love and this and that. What about survival? Huh? We are the black survivors, the ones you couldn't kill. We're still here. What about that message? What about war? Until the philosophy which holds one way superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. What about that message? Hmm? Don't let these people paint an image of somebody and give it to you. Actually, this is the modern time. You can actually go out there and listen to the actual people that they're trying to paint the image of and see them for yourself in all their glory. Bob Marley is also a prophet. Bob Marley is not what you see, or that is not the whole picture. That is only a part of the picture. All right, now, us who are out here putting out information need to dispel the lie. Malcolm X is not a bad person. Malcolm X is the example you should have followed. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King did not see eye to eye for the exact same reason I had a dream business. But Martin Luther King was not that person only. Martin Luther King was just biding his time and gathering support from both sides, and so that he could actually enact what even Malcolm X was trying to do. But he just tried a different approach. People, wake up.